When you hear the phrase, into the rabbit hole, what comes to mind? Maybe it's Alice tumbling into Wonderland, a world of confusion and curiosity. But I would like to take you all into my rabbit hole that I travel every day as an oncologist. I take care of women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And every time a patient enters my clinic, I magically enter their world of fear, hope, science, love, and mystery. Cancer can pull you deep into that rabbit hole of why me and what if. We've made remarkable progress in breast cancer research, where I can use treatments that can completely cure the disease if found at earlier stages. And women can live a long and full lives. But then there's stage 4 cancer, where the cancer has traveled to different parts of the body, which is generally incurable. At that point, we shift from curing the cancer to limiting the spread of the disease and minimizing any suffering. Now, we have incredible drugs, medicines that can shrink tumors, extend life, and give people more good days. But the field of medicine can't always answer why one patient responds beautifully to treatment and the other does not. That uncertainty, that is also the rabbit hole. So let me take you all into my clinic, and I would like to share one of my patients with you all. A young woman that I will call Zoe to protect her identity. A 36-year-old indie rocker who would play with her band in small venues around Los Angeles, and sometimes she would go on tour. Despite her diminutive 5-foot frame, Zoe was larger than life. Even though I only met her when she already was diagnosed with a dreaded stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis, she would always radiate joy inside and out. She was the one who would tell a joke and cheer me up. And even after losing her hair, she would show up to clinic in a brightly colored scarf tied around her head with a contagious smile and laughter that would brighten the spirits of every clinic staff. Zoe loved music. She would play the acoustic guitar and write in her tattered leather journal like new songs that would come up while she was receiving IV chemotherapy. She knew her time on this earth was limited. However, that did not stop her from living. She benefited from the treatments I gave her and probably lived much longer than she would have without them. But ultimately, stage 4 cancer did what it always does. She passed away in peace, surrounded by her family and her community of artists. Watching Zoe live and die gracefully taught me something I'll never forget. We can spend our whole lives trying to avoid the rabbit hole, to stay safe, to plan everything perfectly. But sometimes falling in helps us see what truly matters. I also want to discuss another rabbit hole. I've learned about one that physicians can fall into. And I have to be honest, I've fallen into this rabbit hole several times. Because sometimes in medicine, we become so hyper-focused on the biology of the disease, the molecular pathways, the mutations, the imaging scans, the lab values, that we forget we are not just treating a disease, but we are treating a human being. Every patient who sits in front of us is more than a diagnosis. They are complex with their own fears, hopes, cultural values, and spiritual beliefs about what it means to live and what it means to die. If we only look at the cancer under a microscope, we might miss the story that's unfolding right in front of us. A mother, a daughter, a friend, a dreamer, a person trying to make sense of life in the face of uncertainty. That's why I like to think not just of the biomedical model approach when I see a patient, but the biopsychosocial and spirituality model. Making sure that, yes, I need to understand the biology of the cancer, be able to manage, recommend a certain chemotherapy. But what about the psychology of the patient? What do they experience mentally, especially about anxiety, depression? And what does their social world look like? Do they have a support network? Do they have family? Do they have a partner? Do they have stable housing? Are they able to eat every day? And who's going to take them to and from appointments? And most importantly, the spirit. That's what makes people who they are. Because the art of medicine isn't just in the prescribing, but it's in the listening. It's in seeing the whole person, not just the tumor. And if I only focus on fighting the cancer, I might miss the living that's happening right in front of me. Connection is the key to healing. Connection to a patient's values, their goals, their humanity. That's how we make sure we never lose our own. Because medicine without humanity is science. But medicine with humanity, now that's healing. My experience with Zoe and hundreds of others made me think about my own mortality. We can get lost chasing longevity, achievements, and perfection. But what if living isn't about how long we stay in the world, but how present we are while we're here? Maybe the real climb out of the rabbit hole is realizing this. Life isn't something to control. It's not something to micromanage. It's something to experience. And the best way to live isn't by fearing the unknown, but by embracing each moment. How we treat others, how we show kindness, and how we care for ourselves. That's the fuel for compassion. Now, you are all standing on the edge of your own rabbit holes, deciding what paths to take next. College, career, travel, or something else. Whatever you choose, remember this. It's okay to fall into curiosity. It's okay to dive deep in what you love. But when you climb out, take what you learn down there and bring light to others. Ask yourself every day, am I living fully? Am I being kind? Am I bringing joy to the world around me? That's how you make your life in this world worth living. Thank you for your attention.